Yo, what up? It's your boy, 410. We back in the building. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday, your Black Friday holidays, for those of y'all that make it a holiday. And, you know, we back here again for Hot Topic Monday, Hip Hop 4123. We got a lot of things to cover, you know, that's been going on in the culture. So before we get into that, y'all know what you got to do. If you haven't already done it, get your family, friends, co-workers, whoever. Tell them to go subscribe to that YouTube page, 410 Josh, hip hop _4123. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, chop it up with me. We can interact. You got any questions, any recommendations, anything you want to send me, hit me up. We can chop it up, directly. So, we're going to get into, we got a lot of things to talk about today. So, we're going to hop right into it. As you know, last week, we talked about, Diddy had the accusations, against him in a lawsuit from Cassie, inciting, alleged sexual abuse, rape, sex trafficking, all types of very serious accusations against him. And, him and Cassie had settled their lawsuit for undisclosed amount. And now two more accusers for Diddy have come out. One named Joy Dickerson, this girl at the time was 19 years old, Syracuse student, back in 1991. She alleged that her and Diddy had met, and apparently, she allegedly forced himself upon her and drugged her and then filmed it as a revenge porn and showed it to multiple people. And then we have another victim who's a Jane Doe, speaking about how she met Diddy at her house, or his house rather, and he took it upon himself to allegedly, force himself upon her. Again, I want to make something really clear. I'm in no way, shape, form a supporter of anybody who is any type of abuser, especially any type of sexual abuse or, sexual crimes against women and children, or for any magnitude of that matter. And the thing is that on the height of the act of the New York Survivors Act, which just came into fruition, it allows survivors of sex crimes to have a 1-year window to report their abuse. And his lawyers are inciting that they believe the woman, this is a money grab for them because of the act that's coming through. But again, I'm not a supporter or any type of, I don't condone any type of behavior like this, but I feel as though everybody is due process. You shouldn't be convicted in the court of public opinion just because of, accusations. Now, it's a tough thing because, you don't want to hear or see your icons and pioneers, people that you've looked up to since a kid, even be associated with this. So all I can say is, everybody should be considered innocent until proven guilty. But if anybody is a victim, they have a right to speak out and say what happened to them, and they have the right to voice their complaints and concerns about what happened to them, and it shouldn't happen to anybody else. So we're going to get into the next topic. T.I. and his son, King Harris, got into a scuffle at the Falcons Saints game this past weekend. There's a viral video. Y'all can check it out. It's all over the internet and Twitter and everything. They got into a apparent argument, and he told him he told his son that he was embarrassing him, and embarrassing their family. And his son went on a tirade about how he stand on business and this, that, and the third. I'm gonna say this: you should never, publicly air out your family issues, whatever their issues is, to the public. But what I'm seeing with, King, I'm seeing what I see with a lot of rich kids that's been in the media is that they resent the fact of their upbringing because they want the lifestyle of their parent to feel validated. It's like we've gotten to a point in society where being real is, having this, from rags to riches story. And then we look down upon people who just have, were born into riches. What I'm going to say about this is, just from the outside looking in, you should be proud of the fact that you didn't have to grow up like how your father grew up. T.I., he didn't work this hard for you to follow his footsteps, to go back to Bankhead where he grew up and had to hustle and gangbang and do whatever he did to put you in a position. He did this so the position would be, the road for you would be a lot smoother. So, all this talk about you staying on business and all that, it's like, bro, you are a rich kid and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have no reason to be ashamed of that. But, just airing out and talking about your family and doing things like that, nah, every family has their problems, but it's not for the public platform. That's not where you should. That's what shouldn't be done. Airing out your issues. But but I think they'll resolve it. Their father and son, and they'll resolve it behind closed doors. And things will go on, and hopefully they'll get to a better place. Next topic we're going to get into is Ludacris manager Shaka Zulu. He was acquitted of his murder case from November of last year, 2022, in a self-defense murder of a 23-year-old college student. So apparently there was an argument at a restaurant, and it involved Shaka Zulu. A scuffle happened. I think he got jumped or something, and he shot, and killed a 23-year-old in self-defense, as the courts say. So, congratulations for Shaka Zulu, man. We live in crazy times where, you gotta protect yourself, and it's unfortunate that you have to take those extreme measures, at that stage in your life. But again, you gotta protect yourself at all costs. So shout out to Shaka Zulu, man, for, beating that case, because you gotta protect yourself. You got a family and friends, and you gotta make it home too. Prayers to the 23-year-old that got killed, because even though they deemed he was in the wrong, it's just sad hearing somebody 23 and a college student lose their life. Also, we got Ye and Chris Brown are facing backlash for doing a dance to what is deemed an anti-Semitic song called "Vultures" featuring Ty Dolla. As everybody knows, Ye and Ty Dolla are right now shopping their album out for distribution. They have a joint album together, and I guess a song with Chris Brown was dancing with Ye. Apparently there was a lyric in the song that was deemed anti-Semitic. I'm not going to repeat the lyric because YouTube is very sensitive about what you say, and I'm new to this, so I don't want to say nothing to get my channel flagged or get it taken down for any reason. But if you go listen to the song "Vultures," you'll hear what is the alleged line. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I heard the song, I didn't think it was an alleged line. I just think that we live in a very ultra uber sensitive society to where people can say anything about somebody that you deem isn't popular or part of the boys club. But if you say somebody a part of the boys club, then you're deemed to be a hater. You're deemed to be somebody who is, trying to cause problems to other people. So I don't think that the lyric was anti-Semitic. I just think that people were just very, very sensitive, and you can't say anything about anybody that is part of the popular circle. If you're not part of the popular circle, people have, carte blanche, the floor to talk about you, so I don't know. I think that's just, to me, it's just being petty. The YSL opening statement started today. Trial is supposed to last 4 months, and it's alleged that there's going to be over 200 witnesses being called. As everybody knows, Young Thug been fighting this state RICO case for a little over a year now, and he's had several of his co-defendants, including Gunna, that have taken plea bargains. And Thugger's lyrics are going to be used when the trial, starts to go into fruition. So hopefully Thug can beat this case. It's just sad that his lyrics are going to be used. But the thing about lyrics being used is you can only use lyrics that detail actual crimes. So I believe that the prosecution is using his lyrics because they believe that that's evidence to show that he actively participated or knew about crimes taking place. So we just have to see it. Like I said, the trial is supposed to last 4 months. So we're going to see what, transpires from that. Also, news that Pac and Biggie fingerprints are going to be auctioned at a high-level auction called momentsintime.com. So it's supposed to be a hefty price for their fingerprints. And apparently they've gotten their fingerprints from arrest records. So I guess people want to pay, for a piece of history like that. I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is a little weird to me. Growing up, when you wanted, a piece of history or a piece of something from your favorite artist, you might have got a piece of their clothing. Some people went as far as maybe gotten the plate they ate off of at a restaurant, an autograph. Now, this shit is just getting weirder and weirder. Now people are willing to pay for your fingerprints from arrest records. People, I seen a couple months ago, Ice Spice had auctioned off a pair of her underwear for like $200,000, and somebody literally brought it. So I mean, it's just weird. I mean, personally, I love Pac and I love Biggie, my top 2 favorite rappers of all time. But I wouldn't pay no amount of money for their fingerprints. I don't love them that much. I love their music, what they contribute to the culture, but I think this is a little weird. Foxy Brown's in the news under fire for alleged screenshot that she posted on her Instagram story about the Diddy lawsuit. She actually had a conversation with somebody named Daryl Brown, and he said that, "I'm glad you didn't get caught in that Diddy sick shit." And Foxy, I guess, replied dead ass, but she feels as though, she got paid off of Def Jam and got paid off of Bad Boy. So if you remember back in the, in the early 2000s, Diddy actually was interested in signing Foxy Brown. I don't know. I don't know why, that would come about. Maybe they just had a conversation and she just put it out there. But honestly, I can't see, even though now, like, as a fan of, Kim and Foxy, because Kim was with Diddy at one time, I don't see how it would have worked with Foxy and Diddy after he had been with Kim. It's just, I don't know. And plus, Foxy was with Jay-Z at one point, so I don't think that really would have panned out. Because, Foxy is you could tell, like, if you listen to her and listen to her talk, she's a person that's her own boss and on her own move. So I don't know about that. Joe Budden is in the media again. He goes in on Lupe. Lupe did a freestyle over the new Andre 3000 album, New Blue Sun. It's I guess you would call an ambient flute album. And Joe Budden basically told him to stop it, and it's a clout chasing move. I don't agree with this, Joe. I don't agree with Joe Budden on this one. Artists have constantly freestyled over new records and new songs and new albums. Joe Budden even did it himself. So if y'all remember, and I can say this, y'all remember when Kendrick had dropped Control and everybody under the sun did a Control verse or did their own Control record? Joe Budden got one called Lose Control. So, you know, I don't know if you could consider that a diss towards Kendrick, but, you know, people like new music and they want to rhyme over it. And because it's no bars over the album, which everybody was looking for Andre, I don't think it's a bad thing. I heard the record is dope. Lupe's one of them artists that even if he goes away for 3 years and we don't hear anything from him, when he comes back with the bars, we're going to pay attention because he's just one of them type of artists. Like, you know, apparently they're saying Joe Budden is supposed to be coming out, you know, doing some music, but I don't know. We've been hearing that for years. You know, I don't think Joe's really coming back to music, but nah, I don't agree that this is clout chasing, and you know, maybe he just didn't like the record, you know, and that's fine, but I don't think it's a clout chasing move. Busta Rhymes was on the Breakfast Club this morning, and he actually wanted to call a truce with Charlemagne. But Charlemagne, I guess, missed his flight for the Breakfast Club this morning. But if you know, Busta and Charlemagne got a long stemming feud years back. So where that stemmed from was Charlemagne basically said that Busta, at one point, he was cold as far as music. Busta hadn't put anything out, and I guess he took offense to that. So, you know, Busta, if you know him, he's not the type that's going to be quiet about you saying his name or saying something about him he deems to be negative. And, you know, they had some words. They had some words online that I guess they actually confronted each other in the club. And got a little crazy. Nobody got hurt or, you know, beat up or anything, but it just started to get a little too rowdy. So they've been having this tension for years about, you know, Charlemagne saying Busta was cold musically. I feel like this. If you as an artist, and this wouldn't be just this for any artist, you know, whether you Busta Rhymes or you Jay-Z, whether you Nas, whether you Snoop, or whether you know, Rick Ross or whoever, if you put out music publicly, people are going to criticize it publicly because you put it out for public consumption. So if you don't want your music criticized, don't put it out for the public. It's just as simple as that. You know, I know there's politics in the music business and there's things that you can say and you can't say because people got relationships. But at the end of the day, we as fans, me included, we have the right and reserve the right to express our opinion about you musically, as long as we're not, you know, being disrespectful about you personally. You know, whatever you feel personally, that whatever my personal feelings is, shouldn't have to do with anything with your music. So that's how I feel on that. The Clipse got their own day in Washington, D.C. They did an interview with hip-hop journalist Noah Callahan Bever on Idea Generation. And it was a 2-day event, and they actually did a performance at the Kennedy Center of Performing Arts, and the show was called Survivor Celebration. Everybody know the Clipse been in the game, you know, 20 plus years. They did split, you know, Malice, you know, got saved and he went and started doing gospel type of music, gospel rap, started preaching. Pusha did him, you know, but it's good to see that they getting their flowers because Clipse is one of the best groups of all time in hip hop. I feel like maybe because they had, they had large gaps in between their albums. I feel like people tend to forget like how dope they were lyrically. That first album, Lord Willing, I mean, I won't even call that a cult classic. I would call that a classic, because I think most people know, like, bar for bar, they really, really just body, everything on that record. So shout out to the Clipse, man. I'm glad they're getting their flowers. They deserve it. They hip hop legends, and hopefully we get another Clipse album soon. Drake back in the news again. He's back #1 on Billboard 200 because of the boost from Scary Hours 3. Everybody know his album For All the Dogs dropped about a couple weeks ago. It got a lot of mixed reaction, but then he followed it up with Scary Hours 3, and then that boost For All the Dogs back to the #1 spot on the Billboard 200. Drake is one of them artists that's just, as long as he's wants to put out music, his fans are going to support it, and they're going to get it to #1. That's just what it is. He caters to his fan base and his audience, and he does a good job at it. I will say I really enjoyed Scary Hours. I did enjoy Scary Hours more than For All the Dogs. I don't feel it For All the Dogs was like complete trash, but Scary Hours was the Drake that I wanted to hear, like the lyrical Drake, So gotta give him respect for that. Last segment, Dame Dash responds to Memphis Bleek about being kicked out of Rockefeller. Everybody know Bleek was on Drink Champs about a couple weeks ago, talking about how he saw the end of Rockefeller coming, and Dame was in denial of it, and he's saying he's gonna get it back together, and Dame basically saying, you can't kick me out of what I started. I actually walked away from it, which is true. Dame walked away from Rockefeller to do his own thing. He walked away from Rockaway, all the businesses that was going on, and I just think the Rockefeller story is just one of those forever talked about stories, because we get the bits and pieces of it from different artists. We've heard Bleak speak about it. We've heard Freeway. We've heard Cam. We've heard Beans. We've heard Petey Crack. We've heard Biggs to a certain extent. But I think everybody is just really looking for Jay-Z to come out and say, why did the Rockefeller story end? Which I don't think we're ever going to get. I just think that it's one of those stories that we're always going to want to know about. We're always going to hear about. And, that's just what it was. So let's want to go back and hop in the chat and see who's on here, and check out my supporters, give y'all the shout outs. As always, Lynette Stevens, thank you, love, for coming through, always supporting. My god sister Erica, what's up, sis? Appreciate you coming through. Thank you. Let's see, okay, Lynette Stevens, okay, I believe Cassie, but the other ladies jumping on the bandwagon. That could be true, because a lot of people, if they see they can catch a lick, they will. But I don't know. It's one of them things where you just gotta kind of wait to see it out. All right, Sharon Rice, thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. And then Stevens, King is so annoying. Yeah, I mean he's just showing that he's definitely spoiled as as a young kid and a young man. So, hopefully he'll get it together. But with a father like T.I., I think he'll be straight. Key Watch, thank you, love, for supporting. Appreciate you coming through. Let's see who else we got on here. Okay. Mike Fishback, appreciate you, man. Long time no see. My man Terrell McCalvin, thanks for coming through, bro. Appreciate the support. For All the Dogs is an album from them guys who think they're forever young. I guess, I did feel as though Drake, for the sound, he was, I will say, chasing on that album. I just felt it's like he was just trying too hard to cater to a much younger audience. I think Drake, with his sound, carved out his own lane. Like when Drake does like the passion fruits, the Hold On, We Coming Home, and 4 Times, and Pound Cake, and Controller, and One Dance, that's the Drake that I like to hear. Even honestly, never mind. That's the Drake I like to hear because he carved out his own sound and carved out his own lane, and he can rap. You know, but when you start trying to do these drill, trappy type records to get, you know, to keep a young audience, I don't know. I ain't really feeling that. All right, so that's about everybody that was on the chat, and you know, I thank everybody for coming through. You know, for Hot Topic Monday. So y'all know we're gonna be back Thursday with them Throwback Thursday classics, one for the females, one for the males. We're gonna talk about their cultural impact, influence, and where are they now today. So again, if you haven't done, go to that YouTube page, 410 Josh, hip-hop_4123. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment. I will see y'all on Thursday. Peace.